everybody. Hi, it's Becky from Power Tools with Thread. I've had a very busy week. I've been in class all week, so I'm glad we got remote learning nowadays, so at least that wasn't canceled too. And I've been making masks like crazy, so I also want to let you guys know, and I'll link to this below, one of the filter types that the CDC recommends to put inside of masks is a HEPA filter, and it's made out of polypropylene. Well, the Designs and Machine Embroidery Exquisite Polypro Performance is made out of polypropylene. Say that 5 times fast. I'm not real sure that it's like HEPA quality, but it sure seems like it. So I put this inside of those masks that I made. They're all going to the Texas Veterans Home in Floresville, Texas. So I have been promising you guys I was going to finish the snowball, so that's what this video is going to be about. We're going to do the embroidery of the snowball and the construction. For those of you that bought the snowballs, that's awesome. Thank you. I'll link to them below. You don't get 15% off anymore, but you want to give your grandbabies something fun to do on Christmas morning. Let them open up a bag of snowballs and start throwing them around the living room. So lots of fun there. The snowball requires, the snowman snowball requires a 4x4 hoop. I'm only going to make one. I'm going to make a whole bunch of these over time, but I'm just going to do one right now for your purposes. So you need tearaway stabilizer. Lightweight, medium weight, doesn't really matter. Any kind of tearaway stabilizer. I normally take the part of the hoop that has the embroidery arm on it, like a little handle, and I just set that with the handle to the outside of the stabilizer, and I take my rotary cutter and I just run it up the outside. That's a real super easy way to measure stabilizer so you know it's going to fit. Okay, you don't have to get all wound up about, you know, exact measurements and that type of thing. So I'm going to put the stabilizer into the hoop, and we're going to do what's called floating. And when you float something, you hoop the stabilizer, but your project, you actually pin it to the top of the stabilizer. All right? So once you get that done, you want to take a small ruler and a pencil. Let me bring you over here. And you want to draw your grid in your hoop. All right? Now there's a couple of different ways you can do this. A 4x4 is small enough. You can kind of just put a ruler on there, and you can put your pencil where you think it needs to go and just draw it, okay? I prefer to use the dime hoop mat. This is a silicone mat. It's absolutely wonderful, and it has a very dark crosshair in the center of it, and your hoop will not slide around on this thing. I really, really like it. So on your hoop, there are little notches. Regardless of the brand of hoop that you have, you're going to have little markings north, south, east, and west, okay? All of your 90-degree points you are going to have, so you can have a crosshair, because that's how you're going to find center. I like to put those little points. First I get the horizontal, and then I get the vertical ones, all right? And then this way, I just can make sure that that hoop is not going to scooch around the table on me with a mind of its own when I'm not looking. Again, on the 4x4, you really don't have to do that, but as you get into bigger and bigger hoops, you'll find that they tend to run around. So, okay, so see, we've got a nice solid crosshair right here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 2 pieces of the snowball body, the snowball together, and then we're going to float it into the hoop, and then I'm going to stitch it out, and we'll get a cute little face on there. Okay, the first thing you want to do is you want to put 2 of your orange peel sections together. Get all the junk off of them. You want them right sides together if there is a right side, okay? And you can put a pin in there if you'd like, just to make sure they don't shift around anywhere. And what I normally do, because these little tips can get dug and pulled down inside of the feed dogs unless you're using a single needle hole, little hole plate. I'll normally start about right here with a 1/4 inch seam and come off, and then I'll flip it over and I'll come this way then, okay? That just makes it a lot easier and nothing gets pulled down in where it's not supposed to. And I do back stitch. Just want to kind of ease that curve around under the foot. Okay. And then I'm going to do the same thing coming from the other way. Okay, that looks really good. That looks real nice. Okay, now we can put a face in there. So we're going to make like that seam's not even there. We're just going to put the face right there and center it in here. I'm going to put these two center seams together just like this to find the halfway point, which is right there. And then I'm going to put that halfway point right on the center of that crosshair and make sure that this is straight. You want the seam to be as aligned with the vertical crosshair as possible, or else your little face will be turned sideways. You should have something that looks kind of like this. It looks like a little canoe almost, okay? So we're ready to go to the machine. Okay, I have my new thread stand all set up back here. Let me lift it up so you guys can see. I need 6 colors, and each one of the pegs is numbered 1 through 10 on the top and 1 through 10 on the bottom. And then what I normally do with this is I bring the threads up and run them through the slot, and I tuck them, the ends, right into the spring, and that keeps everything up and out of the way so we don't get little thread knots. I'm going to go to embroidery and the memory, because I sent it over here with the wireless. And it is down on, there she is, Snowball, set 2, ball F. All right, I'm going to go set and embroidery. Very good. Slip this under. So the way this works, let me show you. We have 3,314 stitches. Can you guys see the screen? This is the stitch count on the top line up here. We are on color number 1 of 6. And this right here, let me get in closer. This right here tells you that color number 1 is 1 minute, and here it's time to switch to color number 2, and that one will be 3 minutes. That's how you can tell. Very nice. When I go to change my thread, as I said, this is part of your workflow. What I do is I grab it back here and I cut in front of my fingers, and then I put this back into the spring, and I grab color number 2. I give them a twist or 2 and run it around my finger. Just make one little knot, and that seems to be enough, and then I pull it through. If it looks like it's a little bumpy and bulky in there, don't worry about it, because as the nose stitches out, it's going to stitch it all down, okay? We'll see you back here in a minute. Hey guys! Okay, so today is Saturday. Let me tell you what my night was like last night. So everything was going along just fine. I was stitching the snowball face, right? Let me pull up a little bit. So I was stitching the snowball face, and I was working on the luminaire, and needle broke. Okay, so whenever a needle breaks, automatically you stop doing what you're doing. Always, you know, of course, because you can't stitch anymore, obviously. Well, so the shank was hanging out of the thing where the needle screws in, and the tip was gone. And I said, oh gosh, no. So I went and I looked and I looked and I looked and I couldn't find it. And I opened up the little needle plate and pulled that out and took out the bobbin casing and looked and looked and looked and could not find it at all. And I want to tell you guys, you new embroiderers, if you cannot find the other piece of that needle anywhere, don't sew anymore, okay? Because the odds of you, if it's down inside, the odds of you getting it stuck into a gear and doing way more damage is very, very high. And you don't want to fiddle with that. So if it's just simply a case of you can't find the rest of the needle, run it into the machine shop, get that taken care of, and it will cost you a minimum amount of money as opposed to continuing to sew on it and having that metal fly around inside and do a lot of damage. Yes, I checked the nose, I looked through everything, I couldn't find it, and I said, okay, fine. So I wanted to finish this video last night, so I went ahead and started again on the same spot, okay, because it gives you the exact stitch count number, and I was at 2427. So I loaded up I moved the thread tree over to the from the luminaire over to my Quattro, and I got to stitch 2427, which is just wonderful to know that you can do that and exactly where it needs to be. So long as you don't take your project out of the hoop, it will be fine, okay? So I got to stitch 2427, started going again, and broke a needle. Oh, I couldn't believe it. And so I broke the needle and found all of it, okay? And I said, all right, that was an older needle that was on there, so let me replace that needle with a brand new needle. And so that was no problem. I put the new needle in, and y'all, not 2 minutes later, broke a needle again. And this time it broke into 3 pieces, and I could only find 2 of them. And I said, all right, Lord, I hear you. I'm done for the night. And I packed it up and went inside and went to bed. Oh, I couldn't believe it. Y'all, that is an exercise in patience. I'm telling you, it is an exercise in patience because you have to stop and, you know, and it's really, really easy to get very frustrated and be like, but I didn't. I was like, okay, this is all right. I'll deal with it in the morning. So this morning I came out here and hit the Quattro first, okay? I went looking for that 3rd needle piece. It was the tip, completely gone. So I removed the faceplate, and as I'm undoing the very first screw, okay, I dropped it down into the machine. I said, oh, it's going to be one of those days, okay? So, see, the Quattro's mine. The luminaire is on loan, so I'm not fiddling with that, all right? Because if something's wrong with it, I have a responsibility to take good care of that baby. So I removed the embroidery arm off the Quattro, and on the end, that little end that sticks out, okay, there's a screw in there, and I unscrewed that and opened it up, and I didn't see anything, and I literally took my Quattro and turned it upside down and went like this to it, right? And you know what came out? The screw and the tip of the needle. I found them both. Yay! I was like, oh good, okay, the Quattro is under control. So I was putting the cap back on, and I had the screwdriver right on the table, and I was putting the embroidery arm back on, and the screwdriver fell on the floor, and I reached down to pick it up, and I found the tip of the other needle from the luminaire. And I said, thank you, Jesus. I put a brand new needle back in the luminaire, and I've been stitching on it today. So y'all, you know, sometimes things just happen, and it's sometimes you just have to know, okay, I'm done. I'm gonna go have a glass of wine and go to bed. My goodness. All right, so we are ready to get back to sewing that little snowball. I never did finish the little face of this lady, so this is a trash. But I've got another one that's done, and we will start with that guy, okay? Once you get your face done in the middle, right here, of the first two, you want to sew a third orange peel slice to either side of the face. And you need to pay attention to what you do next. It doesn't matter which side of the face you sew it to, but it matters where you're going to leave the opening to put in the stuffing, okay? So then you want to take, I have all of mine, I put a name on all of mine so that the family members can figure out whose is who. So you need 3 more pieces because the snowball takes a total of 6, all right? So I'm going to go ahead and stitch these right sides together the same way I put the first 2. This goes really fast now, you guys. All right. So you've got 2 of these together now. So I want mommy to be on the very back. So I kind of just got to think about the orientation of that. All right. And I'm going to put the last third. Sometimes it helps to fold them so you can find center. And then find center and put them together. And that helps a little bit. I will flatten out the seam from the first one. And position this so I put the tips at the right place on the other side, and then kind of just ease these in, much like you would a sleeve into an arm's eye. Okay, so there's the back third, and here's the front third, all right? So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to open this up as best I can, and I'm going to invert this so that the name, you want right sides facing, okay? And then I'm going to take a pin, and I'm going to pin together the points at the top and tuck this down inside and put together the points at the bottom. You need to be mindful so that you don't have the hole where you're going to add the stuffing. You don't want that on the piece that's right next to the face, okay? So you want to stitch on the piece that's right next to the face. And if you want to put pins in there to make your life a little bit easier, that's fine. But where I'm going to leave the hole is on the other side, all right? Because that has to be, oh, you know, I don't want to say it, hand stitched. But I'm going to leave a hole about so big, so that, you know, 1.5 to 2 inches, so that I can turn it and then stitch it closed. So I'm going to start right here, and I'm going to back stitch. You want to flatten out your seams as much as possible and stick to that 1/4 inch as best you can. The other side, and I'm going to do a back stitch. All done. All right, that looks good. See, can you see this 1/4 inch seam? That looks pretty good. It's not perfect, but that's okay. And then we're going to turn them out through the hole. Oh, that turned out pretty good. Look at the top of that. That turned out real nice. This one's off a little bit. Nobody will care. Like I said in a previous video, if you guys get both sides to match and everything lines up perfect, you need to go get a lotto ticket, because your odds of doing that are low. Okay, we've got this all done now, and now I'm going to stuff them, okay, and we're going to do a ladder stitch. I'm going to put a link to a really, really good video how to do a ladder stitch. My hand stitching is horrendous, so I don't want you to copy mine, okay? But I use this video as a technique builder for me. Believe me, I have seriously considered stitching these with a machine, but I won't, week because they look so much better when they're hand done. So, you know, you almost want that 1/4 inch kind of a fold kind of on this thing. Let's get him stuffed, okay? Lots of you post on our Facebook group all the time stuffies that you make. Matter of fact, right now there's one out there that I put on the profile page. Little baby boy, he's so cute. So you're real familiar with making stuffed animals or stuffies, and if you know, I'm the last one, okay? This is just what I've gathered along the way. When you get this is just polyfill. I'll link to it, all right? I have had this bag for a while, and I just bought a 5-pound box because I'm getting ready to make snakes. Oh, Wendy Gratz on Shiny Happy World. She has this free pattern for a snake. I'll link to it too. I got stuff in my mouth. Fuzzy. So I asked my son if the grandkids would like snakes, and he said they'd love them. So I'm going to make some snakes. But that's why I bought 5 pounds of this stuff. Anyway, when you get this stuff, don't just take a big wad and shove it in, okay? They get lumpy like that. You want to get little pieces, and you just kind of want to, you know, fuzz it like this. This is my understanding of how this works, all right? And then you pack it in the hole. That just keeps it from getting lumpy bumpy, you know, like I'm getting. Oh my goodness, y'all, this staying home. I bet you I haven't done 10,000 steps. I used to do 10,000 steps a day. I bet you I haven't done 10,000 steps in a week. I've walked around the yard, but you know, it's been raining. Oh, you guys, I hate it. We're all getting a little stir crazy, I know. Oh, this is turning out so nice, you guys. How cute! Oh, these are so cute. You wouldn't believe how much can go into this. Okay, this is looking great. See, okay, so here he is, and we've got Mommy on the back, so this is Mommy's. This is about the hole that I'm leaving right there, okay? And so that's gonna stitch up real nice, and when it's closed, it'll look pretty, fairly, sorta symmetrical. How about that Frankenstein for you, huh? That's the worst part for me, guys, that whole sewing up the back. Looks terrible. See that? But it's on the back, and it's done. This is pretty cool. I'll get better. You know, practice. I'm not going to say practice makes perfect, because that ain't going to happen. But this is neat. So I've got to make, let's see, I've got 3 done, 2 done, 3 done. Oh, this is my first one with a name on it. 1 down, 29 to go. We'll talk to you soon. Go sew something. Bye.